An e-commerce brand did 400,000 in sales to other businesses over their website. No sales teams, no trade shows, no cost, just online orders landing the same way consumers do. Except the buyer on the other end is a business. That's a real result, and by the end of this video, I've showed you exactly how the system works. Here's the thing most e-commerce brands are missing. You spend every day trying to lower your customer CAC on Meta and Google, testing creatives, tweaking landing pages, fighting for every percentage point. But there are businesses out there right now that could buy your product too. And you're saying nothing to them. Wholesalers, small businesses, restaurants, local realtors, a whole demand layer sitting completely idle while you pour your money into paid ads. As pay-per-click keeps climbing, the brands that are pulling ahead now are not the ones that only focus on consumers. They're opening a second engine, one that converts businesses online. No ad spend per sale, no reps on salary. It's a different kind of growth, and it compounds. Now, I want to get ahead of the obvious fear, because it's a real one. Done wrong, emailing your market gets your domain flag. It cheapens your brand, and it gets your name associated with spam to the exact businesses you'd want to have as customers. But done right, it's the cheapest acquisition channel you can have. The difference is the system, and that's what the next few minutes are going to be about. And this system has 4 simple steps. Find every business in your market, reach them without burning anything, convert them online without a sales team, and prove exactly which sales this channel costs. Let's get into it. Let's start with rule 0. At all costs, protect your brand. Before any of the tactics, one thing has to be said super clearly. This only works if it doesn't cost you the exact thing you're trying to grow. You have 2 assets on the line. The first is your sending domain. Your transactional emails, your order confirmations, your support replies, they all run through your main domain. Get that domain flagged by sending volume it was never built to carry, and you lose it for months, years, or maybe even forever. The second asset is your reputation with the businesses you're about to contact. One sloppy blast to your whole market and you've signaled to those buyers that your brand operates like a spray and pray operation. That's hard to walk back from. Rule 0 is simple. Dedicated sending domains, never your main domain. Proper warm-up before any email goes out so you don't go to spam. And personalized copy that sounds like a person wrote it. No AI slop. Everything that follows in this video is based on that foundation. If that's not into place, nothing else is worth doing. And the best way to do this, go through providers. Providers like Icemail, InboxKit, or SkilledMail. My personal favorite is Icemail for Google and InboxKit for Microsoft, and SkilledMail is just a good combination, very high value. Don't set up mailboxes directly on your own. There's a lot that goes into this. SPF, DKIM, DMARC, just overall domain format. And these providers can do all of this for you, even at a fraction of the cost. So then we go to the first real step. Let's map your total addressable market. Most people, when they think about selling to other businesses, picture something very small. They think we find 50 very good targeted people, we reach each of them and send a very personal note. But that's the wrong instinct for this model. Nowadays, there are so many emails being sent that these people won't even read your email in the first place. And if your text is super long, they're not going to reply to it at all. And you've just wasted your time. So you have to do it differently. We're looking to grow your business and get orders, not just a few businesses and stop there. This is not about handpicking a tight list. It's the exact opposite. Every business that could plausibly buy or reorder your product is a target. And most brands, when they actually map this out, find that the market is significantly larger than they initially assumed. Businesses they'd never thought to contact, across categories, geographies, or just use cases that fit their product perfectly. They just never said a word to them. The reason volume matters here is not that you want to spam people. It's that you're not trying to land 200 relationships through hustle and follow-ups. You're trying to convert a percentage of the large market online. Coverage is the strategy. Even a fraction of a percentage adds up fast at this scale. 0.5% of 100,000 companies is 500 new customers. That math doesn't exist on a tiny scale, no matter how good your follow-up is. So what a proper market map looks like is this. We start with the category fit. What kind of companies actually buy your product? Then the geography. Where, in which locations can you actually fulfill your orders? And then lastly, are there any other prerequisites? Do they have to hit a specific revenue number? Do they have to do something specifically? Or do they have to have a certain set of employees? That's all part of building this list. We're talking restaurants that need cleaning products, corporate buyers who have to prepare for an event, or local attorneys that need a high-end looking waiting room. The full picture, not just the obvious tier. And here's where this ties back to rule 0. Big volume only works if your infrastructure can actually carry it. That's exactly why this is not spin up a list and just blast. The warm-up, the dedicated domains, the copy quality, that's what lets you run coverage without burning your brand. The infrastructure is the hard part. The list is just the input. You can build this list by just scraping Google Maps with tools like Appify or our own Google Maps scraper. That will let you choose keywords of companies that align with your business goals, then scrape those companies and find their email address. After finding those email addresses, you have to make sure to validate them. You can do this with tools like EmailKit or Million Verifier. So now you have the map. The question is, how do you actually reach out to those businesses without landing in spam or looking like some cold email guru everyone doesn't want to reply to? Well, that's step 2, reaching them like a human at scale. So you've got the list, and now comes the part everyone is nervous about. And they're right to be fair. Emailing your whole market is exactly where this works or where it turns into spam everyone deletes. And the line between those two is not the volume. It's whether the email actually is about them. So a deletable version is, hey, we're a fast growing brand, check out our catalog. Nobody cares because it's about you. I'm not trying to be rude, but people don't know you at this point. So they don't give a version that actually opens with what your product will do for their business is the only thing that will work. A restaurant, hear how it helps them clean faster or cheaper. A corporate buyer hears how it solves problems their team has. And an attorney hears how this will impact how his customers view them. Same product, different opening. Because the message is built around the reader, not around you. And the discount code most brands lead with, that's not the message either. It's just a small nudge at the end. A reason to test you out now instead of later. We lead with value, let the code just close the gap. If your email reads like a coupon, you've already lost. Yes, this has to be personalized per business and still runs across your whole market at once. And that's the hard part. This means you have to personalize at full volume. Tools like Clay or N8N can help you to do that. To be fair, even Claude Code can do it nowadays. But we'll cover that fully in a different video. So if you've done this right, you've now reached the right businesses with the message they actually care about. The next question is how they buy. And this is where it stops to look like outbound at all. This is step 3. They convert online with no sales team. One thing before we go further, this works when your product is something businesses can decide on and buy online without a sales call to close it. If every deal you do needs a meeting, then this system doesn't work. But for most e-commerce brands, a big slice of the market can just buy online. And that's who this is for. The old model for selling to businesses goes like this. You hire a sales rep, they spend 6 months building a pipeline, they book calls, they go to trade shows, they send proposals, they follow up for weeks, and maybe by quarter 3, you've got a handful of new customers. It's slow, it's expensive, completely seasonal, and most e-commerce brands will look at that and say, we're not set up for that. And they're right. So they do nothing. But this new model is different. The email drives the business to a page on your site. They read what they need, they see the pricing, and they place the order. Same way a consumer buys from you. Except the basket size is bigger and the buyer has a company name on their invoice. No call, no rep, no proposal, no hand-holding required. And then the exceptions are exactly that, exceptions. A business with a specific question or a deal large enough that a conversation is just worth it, sure, route those to a human. But that's maybe 1 or 2% of the entire volume. Everything else is self-serve, because you've already done the work of explaining the value in the email and on the page. So what this does to the economics is significant. No sales rep cost per acquisition, no trade show flights, no booth fees. The CAC for this channel can come in well below what you're doing on Meta or Google, and it doesn't decay the way paid does when CPM spikes. That's the version you can put on your dashboard, just like the other channels, and watch it compound. But to be fair, it's almost too clean, which is exactly why the next step matters so much. The next step, step 4, is where we prove what actually caused the sale. Here's the uncomfortable truth about B2B email campaigns. When a business you emails goes to buy from you, it doesn't automatically mean your email cost it. They might have seen a remarketing ad or a sign besides the road or someone mentioning you on a YouTube channel. They might have been planning to buy anyway. Some of them were already in your pipeline, of course, without you knowing it. And the discount code that none of them actually use doesn't prove anything. So we emailed them and they bought is just its correlation, not proof. If you can't tell the difference, you're paying for a channel that you can't actually measure, which means you can't make real decisions about it. So the fix is a holdout period, and it's simpler than it sounds. Before the campaign goes out, you randomly set aside a slice of the market, let's say 10%, and you commit to not emailing them at all. You protect that group and run your campaign towards everyone else. And after a few months, you compare. How did the 90% convert in regards to how did the 10% convert? The held out group will probably still buy at the same normal rate. That's what would have happened even without you doing this new channel. The difference between those two is the real number of what your campaign actually did. What this will give you is incrementally. You're not counting the customers who would have shown up anyway. You're only counting the ones that your outreach genuinely created. And that changes everything about how you evaluate the campaign, because now you're measuring the right thing. From here, you build the same metrics you use for paid. Cost per net new customers, take what you want to spend on the campaign, divide it by the lift provided, and that's your real CAC for this channel. Stack it directly against your Meta CAC or your Google CAC and put that in the same dashboard. Now you're seeing real resource allocation and not just ones based on faith. Most agencies running B2B email campaigns don't offer this. Not because they don't know what holdouts are, but because running one means you might prove that the channel didn't work. That's a risk most aren't willing to take. And when you run this for yourself, if you use this system yourself, you have to do this to be able to calculate your real CAC on this channel. And when this works, you see real revenue coming in. One brand we worked with got $400,000 in revenue over their website from B2B in 4 months. 0 sales calls. A completely separate new channel they haven't explored before. And another customer saw their cost to acquire a distributor drop by a third, just by fixing the messaging, the targeting, and the size of the campaign. Different products, different markets, same 4 steps underneath. So here we see the whole system in a brief overview. So most importantly, rule 0, protect your brand. Map your entire market, do human outreach at scale, convert them online, and prove what actually created your conversions. And then just repeat if it makes financial sense for you. So you don't need a sales team or a trade show booth to sell to businesses. Your whole market can buy from you online right now. Protect your brand first, map your full market, reach them as a human at scale, and let the website close the deal. That's the system. Now you can build this all out yourself. This video gives you the exact map, and below you can find the tools I referenced. But if you want to know what your market is actually worth before spending anything, there's a link below where you can book a call so we can do a breakdown for you. We'll size your addressable market, give you real CAC estimates, and show you what a campaign could look like for your category specifically. For most brands, that teardown is exactly where we start to work together, so check the link out below. But if you want to run this system yourself, you can see the exact system lined out in this video, and below you can find the exact tools I mentioned. And in the next couple of videos, I'm going to talk about personalization at scale, how to build the infrastructure, and what tools can you use to optimize this at scale.